Hello, welcome to the 4th episode of Hot Tamales. I am your wonderful, amazing host, Zoe Hurmi, and today I will be showing you guys how to make a very common English breakfast that my family calls uppy eggs. You might have heard it as dippy eggs as well. So here we go. So what we will be needing today would be a small pot, an egg, white bread. You can use any type of bread. I am using white bread, but you know, I like to butter my toast, so I'm also going to be using butter, and around 2 cups of water. And then you will also be needing a spoon that has holes in it that you can cradle your egg in. Alright, so to start off, we are going to fill our pot with around 2-ish cups of water. Mine's a bit more just because our pot is a bit wider. And when you fill your pot with water, you want to make sure that if you put your egg in, it can be pushed down and be covered. You are then going to go ahead and then bring this to a boil. I'm just going to put this on our front burner on a medium heat and wait for that to boil. Alright, so once your water is boiling, as you can see, my water is boiling right here. What I do is that I have my egg. My egg has been sitting out so it's not cold from just being in the fridge, and I dip it lightly in just so the egg does not crack from the sudden heat, since that can happen when you're boiling an egg. And then you're just gonna lightly submerge it in, and you do have to be careful and watch the egg and make sure that it doesn't crack. You will hear it start to jump, but basically you will go ahead and leave it in there for around 4 minutes. Now, while we are waiting for our egg to cook, we are boiling the egg. We're boiling the egg to the point to where it's almost completely cooked until the yolk is just like that runny, gooey consistency, and the whites are all cooked. So while we wait, we can go ahead and get our toast ready. So I already got a piece of bread out. My egg is on the smaller side, so I'm just gonna do a smaller piece of bread. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in the toaster until both sides are brown to my liking.
Now let's go into more depth about the history of an English breakfast. Now, uppy eggs, it's eggs and toast. It's a pretty basic meal. It's just the way I cook the egg. There are other forms of very common breakfasts like beans on toast. I personally don't like beans, so I don't make them, but it's very common even today, and it has been very common for a while. And the traditional full English breakfast is centuries old, and it can date back to the 1300s. And by the time Queen Victoria came to throne, people had been using breakfast to become an opportunity to demonstrate your wealth and good taste and social upbringing. And it is the Victorians who took the tradition of breakfast and raised it up into an art form, creating great lengths to secure more exotic and traditional ingredients, and to have them prepared the correct way, or different ways that made them taste better, or just different, like eggs.
Alright, and once you do hit your 4-minute mark, I'm going to turn off the heat. I'm just going to use my same spoon that I used earlier, and I'm just going to scoop it up. And I'm going to transfer it over to a paper towel that I have on my counter. And we're just going to transfer it over here onto our paper towel. And I'm just going to put it on our paper towel, dry it off a bit. I have some water on my counter from when I spilled from filling my pot, but we're just going to leave it here to cool off a bit since it is just a bit hot to the touch. But I'm also going to put it in our little egg container that we have, which is not container holder. So cute. We have multiple of these in our house just because we do eat this commonly for breakfast. Now my toast is just done. I have it browned just a little bit. Well, it's more than just a little bit. I have it browned a bit, and I'm actually going to go ahead and cut my piece of toast into stripes. slices. So if I were to dip them into a hole on top of my egg, they would fit. Like so. And I also like buttering my toast. I forgot to do it before I cut it, but you can go ahead and lightly butter your toast to your liking. All right, so now hopefully that your egg is cooled off a bit, you're going to use a knife. I'm just gonna use a butter knife, and I'm going to crack the top of our egg. So just right around the top of it, I'm just gonna crack it. 3, 2, 1. There we are. And I'm just gonna try to do this completely all the way around so I can get a little almost cap lid for my egg. And it might still just be a tad bit hot to the touch. Just be a bit careful because it is hot. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and stick my knife through and pop that right off. Now, some people save this since it does still have a bit of the yolk and just de-shell it and eat the yolk. I personally am not the biggest fan of it. I'm still gonna save it though, in case someone else in my family or a dog might want to eat it. So here I'm just gonna uncover some of the whites so we have easier access to the yolks. And just put it on my plate. All right, to the point where you should have a nice opening to see all the runny yolk. Now, you're done. All right, and now you can go ahead and taste it. And I hope you enjoyed learning how to make uppy eggs.